One of the common topics of conversation that's come up with a lot of my clients recently is the Digital Operational Resilience Act, or DORA. So what I wanted to do today is have a short introduction to what DORA is and when is it coming into force, who's affected, what are the key focus areas, and a little bit of guidance on what entities should be doing to get ready for it. So first up, the DORA, or Digital Operational Resilience Act, is a new EU regulation designed to enhance standards of operational risk management in financial services entities, and primarily around the ICT, or information communication technology area. So it's really designed to help drive better standards in how financial services organizations manage their ICT risk, both for their internal and for their critical suppliers. And the reason why it's come in is recognition that modern ICT services are fundamental to delivery of modern financial services. And it's therefore critical that we have a strong operational resilience standard to ensure that we protect the national and wider EU financial system. It's coming into force officially on the 17th of January in 2025. There's been a 24-month adoption period, which started in 2023. And it's who will be affected? Well, financial services entities. And as I already mentioned, their critical ICT suppliers will also be affected, either directly or indirectly, depending on the level of criticality in terms of the services they supply. So there are 5 key focus areas in DORA. And in no particular order, these are ICT risk management, so managing the risk associated with ICT services and platforms. Incident reporting, so how organizations manage their reporting of any incidents that occur and ensuring that they do so in a structured way. And while it is focused on reporting, it is indirectly related to incident management, which is obviously a key element of any cybersecurity framework. Digital operational resilience testing, so that's coming into the D, O, and OR of DORA. And this is absolutely critical and something that is often overlooked, which is where not only is it good enough to have a plan, but you also must test that plan, make sure that it works, look for opportunities for improvement, and help ensure that if an incident does occur, that the relevant teams internally and externally know what to do and can do so in an efficient manner, and also ensure that you meet any requirements around capturing logs, information, and reporting. As already mentioned, oversight of critical ICT providers, so managing your third-party risk. So really making sure that all of those ICT providers that are critical to your delivering your services, whether that be managed service providers, ISVs, or like major platforms like Microsoft or Salesforce, or all these other different SaaS or infrastructure providers, you need to ensure that you have managed any risk related to them, so that you do good vendor risk assessments, you understand where they fit in your internal processes around incident handling, around reporting, and around your resilience testing, and making sure that their standards meet your standards. And then finally is the pillar on information sharing. So ensuring that financial entities share information together, both nationally and internationally across the EU, to help improve awareness of issues, incidents, and vulnerabilities, and opportunities for improvement. And also to ensure that information reaches regulators and to ultimately the customers as appropriate. So what should entities be doing at this point? So I think most entities should already have a plan in place, but the kind of key steps that I think organizations should already be taking, if they're not already done so, should be starting as soon as possible, is to review any guidance from the relevant European supervisory authority. So for example, if you're a banking organization, there's the European Banking Authority, the EBA, or if you're in insurance or pensions, there's the European Insurance and Occupational Pensions Authority, or EIOPA. And there's also guidance around if you're in trading in the European Security and Markets Authority, the ESMA. All of them have published guidance, which is in a process of being released and improved upon at the moment. So that would be the first port of call to get guidance relevant to your specific entity. And then also you should look at any guidance from your national competent authority. So for example, in Ireland, that would be where I'm based, that would be the Irish Central Bank, and they have released guidance around what you should do, either building on previous guidance or specific to DORA. And similar guidance is available from the competent authorities in each of the EU countries. But in summary, without like drilling into that guidance in a lot of detail, the kind of key things that I would be recommending my customers do is review all of your existing ICT systems, ensure that you have a detailed risk assessment for them, and that you've implemented or at least have a plan to implement controls to mitigate any of the risks that you've identified. Extend that risk assessment then to your critical ICT suppliers, your MSPs, your platforms, your SaaS services, your infrastructure as a service or platform as a service providers, and make sure that, again, you've done a detailed risk assessment, you understand what risks are present, and that either you or your supplier have in place good controls or a plan to implement good controls. And this is an ongoing exercise, so you will need to be doing this on a constant basis. Ensure you have a really good incident monitoring and handling set of procedures in place. A good example of this would be a SOC, either an internal or an external SOC. And it's critical that you have documented and tested incident management procedures. Because it's not just good enough to have a plan, you do need to test these things. And really, I would say a modern SOC or incident handling service should be focusing on learning and adapting from any incidents that do occur or anything that occurs from your testing, because cyber risk is a constantly evolving environment. You should always be looking to improve your capabilities. And then finally, doing robust and regular resilience testing of your business continuity plans, your incident handling plans, your various resilience controls or procedures that you might have in place. This is something that needs to be done on an ongoing basis. A lot of organizations do very well in implementing things like high availability and resilience systems, redundant systems, and backups, but potentially don't always test a lot of those procedures and systems to see how well they perform in a real life scenario. So again, doing regular testing will teach you to understand how good your various policy procedures are, identify any kind of weaknesses or opportunities for improvement, and will also build up the reflexive knowledge of your teams so that they'll be more effective when you do have an incident or a crisis. I think to conclude, regulation, it doesn't always get a lot of love from ICT teams. It can be seen as yet another layer of work to do, but particularly financial services industries, I think we'll be very cognizant that standards do improve the overall performance and management of risk in these entities. It's an area that financial services are very familiar with and have been very good with in other parts of their business in terms of the financial risk, and have very strong controls in place. And now we're just extending those via DORA to ICT risk. So it's definitely something which I think will be overall a good thing for the industry and for cyber risk management as a whole, because as we all get better at this, as standards improve and they cascade down through the supply chains, it improves. A rising tide raises all boats in terms of improving the maturity of cyber risk management in all of these different organizations.